Hello and welcome everyone to another video on my channel. I am Dr. Pilot FI. FI is for Flight Instructor. And today we're going to be doing a flight in the PMDG 737 Microsoft Flight Simulator from Kennedy to Newark on PilotEdge with live online ATC. Yes, I know it is probably odd for a lot of people who have heard of PilotEdge or been flying a PilotEdge. Why is PilotEdge covering a flight between Kennedy and Newark on the East Coast when PilotEdge only covers the West Coast? Well, let me be very specific here and very clear. This flight was in support of a commercial client operation. The client is doing some sort of a type rating or training in a simulator for, I believe, a Gulfstream or a business jet, and they wanted to have a lot of traffic, pretty much real traffic, something simulating real traffic around their flight between JFK and Newark. And this flight is a little bit complex because it's going to have like vectoring, can have a lot of missed approaches, you know, requesting different approaches if you need to come back to the same airport, etc. Sometimes they require diversions and so forth. Okay, so yes, we'll be flying on PilotEdge today from Kennedy to Newark. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how my setup works. All right, jumping in the cockpit. Okay, and here we go, and we'll just show you the quick setup. Okay, so this is my setup pretty much. I am using a multi-monitor where I can look right and left and I can see everything. It's pretty powerful, pretty immersive, as you can see. And I'm also using Air Manager panels, so everything can be operated by touch. And if I have a knob, I can highlight it and use a knobster right here in order to rotate the knob. It gives me a lot of versatility and ease of use. As for the upper panel, and FMC, the flight management computer that you see in the upper right corner of your computer of the screen right now. These are provided by Avia Server. Avia Server is software that creates a server and connects to the simulator, and you can open a web browser with a specific web address, and you can be able to operate these things also by touch, including the FMC. Okay, so this is pretty much the setup, and what I'm going to do right now is the following. I'm going to show you also how I pop out the PFD and MFD on the screens. I use a very powerful software called MSFS Pop-Out Panel Manager. The beauty about this is that you can pop out the screens, place them whatever you want one time, and save this as a profile, and it knows where to pop them out and where to put them. In addition to this, if the screen that pops out comes from, for example, the G3000 or anything that can enable that has touch screen, it will allow you to enable touch screen. This is not available if you just use the native MSFS pop out way, popping out the screen. Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and put this on the side, and we'll go ahead and start the pop out. As you can see, it's popping out the PFD and the navigation display and the engine parameter display and everything, and it's going to place them exactly where they need to be here in Air Manager, and it's going to remove the upper part. And with that, we're done with this one, so that's really good. Okay, and we'll go ahead now and get started, and I can show you how things work here. So first thing is battery is on. You can see emergency lights on, and we go here to the flight management computer with the PMDG options and go to ground services in the upper right, and we request the ground power unit. And wait a little bit till the light comes on. The ground power unit is available on the upper panel. You can see that on the lower right of your screen. Here it is. Turn this on. Let's turn some lights on the upper panel, and also turn some lights on here too on this display. That's good enough. Alright, we're good here. So that's done. We'll go ahead and go top to bottom, left to right. I'll turn the yaw damper on later, rear pump, and put the IRS on nav. And come down, you start the APU. Seatbelts on. And windshield heat is on, electrical pumps to on, and I can just turn the packs to auto and the bleed air to on from the. You're gonna get the bleed air from the APU once it kicks in, and set the altitude today of the flight. Okay, just to be clear about one thing, since this is a commercial client operation, we have custom weather, 700 feet overcast, 15 degrees, 29902. Wind is from 100 at 4 knots, and we have information Zulu. It's, you know, so this is like the code, the ATC code that we use on PilotEdge when using custom weather. And also, we have a specific route that we have to fly, and we have taken off from a specific runway in support of that client operations. Okay, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and now open the web browser to show you how we're going to set everything up. Okay, and there it is. Okay, here's our browser, and we are now going to look at the parameters for the flight, and everything has been set up such that the flight is at 6,000 feet, etc. I'm going to go ahead and now file our flight plan on PilotEdge, and you can come here in SimBrief, and after you generate your flight plan, this is going to be the route today. It's going to be Delta 494. Go on the very bottom, and you can say PilotEdge pre-file. Takes you to the website. Here you go. We have all the parameters. Just clean up the flight plan a little bit. We were required to file JFK Kennedy 5 departure Victor 16 Dixie, and take this out and put using custom weather and click on file. Okay, flight plan's filed successfully. That's good. We'll come back again to our operational flight plan. And before we get started with anything, obviously we need to pick up our clearance. But also we need to set up the aircraft with the proper fuel and everything from the OFP. So we come to return and we come back to fuel. Today the fuel from the SimBrief chart, block fuel here is 13984. So we enter that. 13984. Okay. And we go return. We're going to, I'm sorry, go into return again, go into the payload. Our zero fuel weight today is going to be 116.3 approximately. Okay, we put that for the zero fuel weight. Done. Okay, and then with that we go now to the menu and we start FMC, initialize our position, go to the second page, grab the left position GPS position and go back first page and enter it. And go to route, and today we're going to be flying from JFK to Newark. Here we go, and we're not going to enter anything now until we go ahead and pick up our clearance from Kennedy delivery. And with that, go ahead now look at the frequencies. So delivery, I'm going to put this in COM 2. Okay. Just okay, so put that on COM 2, and today delivery is 13505 and ground is 121.9er. So let's put ground first, 121.9er, and you can see I'm using the Lobster. Makes things much easier. 121.9er. And we have deliveries 13505. I'm still not on COM 2. I'm going to go there. 13505. Here we go. Make it active on COM 2. Now we're going to switch to COM 2 on the audio panel and get ready to copy my clearance. Here we go. Okay, we're ready. So we're gonna pick up our Newark Liberty. Here's our
Falcon 130 Lima Mike Kennedy clearance you. Falcon 0 Mike, go ahead. Falcon 0 Lima Mike clearance available. Advise ready to copy. Falcon 0 Mike ready to copy. Falcon 0 Lima Mike cleared to the Newark Liberty Airport Kennedy 5 departure ready vectors Dixie. Then as filed, maintain 5,000. Expect 6,000 5 minutes after departure. Squawk 5247.
So for the Newark Airport Kennedy 4 departure vectors Dixie, then that's filed, climb to 5, expect 6 and 5, squawk in 5247.
Falcon 0 Lima Mike, read back correct.
Okay, call now. Kennedy delivery, Delta 494. Good morning. IFR to Newark with Zulu.
Delta 494 Kennedy clearance cleared to Newark Liberty Airport Kennedy 5 departure ready vectors Dixie. Then as filed, maintain 5,000. Expect 6,000 5 minutes after departure. Squawk 677 tree.
cleared to Newark Liberty Kennedy 5 departure radar vectors to Dixie. Then was filed initially 5, then 6 for 5 minutes, and squawk 6773 Delta 494.
Delta 494, read back correct.
Okay, we're good now.
20 Foxtrot, you up.
Let's put the squawk now. 6773.
November 7 Alpha Bravo, Kennedy clearance.
78 Alpha Bravo, ready copy.
November 78 Alpha Bravo, cleared to Newark Liberty Airport, Kennedy 5, departure radar vectors Dixie, then as filed, maintain 5,000, spec 6,000, 5 minutes after departure, squawk 5545.
TBM 78 Alpha Bravo is cleared to Newark, Kennedy 5 departure radar vectors Dixie as filed,
Okay,
5, and
frequencies on COM
10
1.
minutes after departure 5545.
November 8 Alpha Bravo,
Kennedy
read back.
Tower, runway 13 right is 123.9er. Put 123.9er. And our departure frequency is not given in the clearance, but should be on the departure chart. Here's Kennedy 5. And altitude 5,000. Departure frequency, New York departure is 135.9er. So we put 135.9. Okay, good. Now we're good. And with that, continue now. We'll go ahead and now program our route because we got our clearance.
November 220 Foxtrot, Kennedy clearance, you up.
Next page. Okay, departure. We're going to be departing 13 right and Kennedy 5 departure. Route, activate, and execute. And go to the next page. We're going to put JFK. Radar vectors to JFK. Then vector 16. Then Dixie. Then Dixie, and then Victor 276.
Kennedy clearance, delivery November 664, November
To
Tango.
Romeo Bravo Victor.
Newark, information Zulu, ready to copy.
November 664, November Tango, Kennedy
Victor
clearance, cleared
249.
to Newark Liberty Airport, Kennedy 5 departure, radar vectors Dixie, then as filed, maintain
To Sierra
5,000,
Bravo Juliet.
squawk 4442.
Cleared to Kennedy 5, radar vectors to Dixie, initial climb 5,000,
Bravo
squawk
Juliet. And that's
4442.
it. Execute.
November 4, November Tango, read
Go
back
now
correct.
to the performance. Come back to the first page.
And Kennedy 2 Sierra Fox, you're trying to call us.
Is cost index. Reserves today are
Go to
going to be
22 Sierra
6.1,
Foxtrot.
6.2.
Kennedy clearance, cleared to Newark Liberty Airport, Kennedy 5 departure, radar
As you
vectors
feel weight
Dixie,
is
then as filed,
116.3.
maintain 5,000, squawk 7204.
6,000.
Okay, thank you. Cleared Newark Kennedy 5
Execute.
vectors Dixie is filed, maintain 5, squawk 7204.
Okay, for this one we're going to use a very interesting app, Top Cat. It's like a performance calculator. I've entered everything here, the wind, the weather, JFK 13 right, the flaps, the weight is 129803. It's the takeoff weight, and we click compute. And we go to 40 degrees, and here are the 131, 132, and 134 hour speeds. Okay.
Good morning, Phantom 66 Mike, IFR
So we enter that. We're going to derate to 40 degrees.
Cleared to the John F. Kennedy
Take off.
Airport. Correction,
Flaps
cleared to
5.
Newark Liberty Airport. Kennedy 5 departure radar
CG.
vectors Dixie, then as filed, maintain 5,000.
And we said 131.
2477.
132.
JFK 5 radar vectors.
And 134.
Maintain 5,000, squawk 2477. Phantom 66 Mike. Number 66
That's
Mike, read back correct.
Now we're ready for engine start, but before that, let's put now, set up everything, flaps 5. Bravo, okay, so we're setting up now flaps 5. And we don't need this guy anymore. Good, and we're done with our browser. Okay, we're now ready for pushback and engine start. We don't have to call anything pushback. If it's an on-movement area, you don't need to call anybody on PilotEdge. You only call ground when you are going to push on a movement area. Okie dokie. And with that, I'm going to switch now the frequency to ground. Okay, so we switch now to ground, 1219er, and we start our pushback bus. Before we start the pushback, yaw damper on now. All fuel pumps are on. I switch the power now, not from the ground power unit, to get from the EPU. Alright, good, and we go ahead and turn the packs off. we'll be able to start the engines, and we'll go ahead and request the pushback, and we turn the anti-collision light on, and we go ahead now request the pushback. FS actions, and we go to pushback, and today, as you can see, we need to push back with the nose facing left. Nose facing left. Okay, let's get back in the cockpit. So put the tug. We want the nose to face left, and we go ahead now and start.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our right.
1-3.
Copy that. Ready for push.
1-1-3. Parking brake released. 1-1-3. I think headings 134. And remember, the V2 is 134.
Brakes released.
So we have to set the V2 as 134 also. On the FC up here in the MCB. Okay. Okay, go now left engine to ground. We'll go ahead now and add the fuel. Okay, now the right engine, ground. Now the fuel. Put parking brake. Park brake.
Brake set. Steering pin is pulled. Watch for the salute. Release from guidance on your right. Have a good flight.
Okay, right, the engine is good. Okay, now we get the aircraft ready now. What we're going to do is, when we turn off lights are on, first of all, switch power to the engines from the APU. Taxi light on, APU to off. Now we can turn the P2 heat thingy on, put engines on continuous, and turn the packs back on, and the middle part to auto. Turn the bleed from the APU to off. And looks like this is done. We come now here and auto throttle is on. Flight directors to on. And arm. I'm going to be flying a heading, so I'm going to arm the heading select and the VNAV to climb to 5,000. And we put now the auto brake to reject the takeoff, and we're pretty much now ready to ask for our taxi.